All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Stonecloud Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and this is their Stonecloud Lite. So this is an American light lager that comes in at 4.3% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, this can is just under 11 months old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Wougi Birds, for this beer. So huge thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail boxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way. And he sent what he coined to be an eclectic selection of beers from the Oklahoma City region. And he included 7 unique beers scattered across 4 different breweries, and 3 of those beers came from Stonecloud. The first one I reviewed from them was their Full English, which was an English ESB brewed with Earl Grey tea. Not only a fun and unique beer, but also pretty tasty. He also sent this one, and he sent a beer called The Kid, which is an rum barrel aged imperial stout. So I'm really looking forward to getting into not only this one, but that other beer, because rum barrel aged imperial stout sounds fantastic. But this is essentially a craft version of an American light lager. A lot of breweries are doing this nowadays. They want to kind of bring in the folks that maybe are more macro drinkers or have an easy crusher for craft drinkers that don't always want to drink like 8% double IPAs. And I'm totally down with it. I've had some good ones. I've had some bad ones. This one says, brewed with the finest stuff we could find. A beer made for drinking, not for thinking. So definitely shouldn't be reviewing this one. And yeah, 4.3%. I'm here for it using the Rajay Beer Ventures 2024 Beer Tuber get-together, Brew Tubers get-together special edition glass that he sent to me last year. Don't use it enough, and I thought, shaker pint for a beer like this. Yes. Now, this can is a bit older. Keep that in mind. This beer is a bit older. Got a gnat down here. It is a bit older, just under 11 months old. I hope it has held up. Obviously, it's not something like an IPA that needs to be super fresh, but it is almost a year old, so I'm just hoping it's quite good. So we're going to give it a pour here into the glass, and we are going to give it a proper review. Try to get a decent head if I can here. And you know what? I won't lick the can, Harry. I won't. I'll just wipe it down a little bit because it spilled down the sides. Didn't spill everywhere, just down the sides a little bit. Same thing with the glass. I do like the label, though. This is just like, it looks like a classic label of some sort, even though on the label here it just says since 19, no, definitely not since 19, since 2017. I don't know why I was going to say since 19 something. All right, so how does this beer look? Well, it looks like a lager. Now, it does have a little bit of, this is not crystal clear, so a lot of light lagers you're going to be able to see through them. This, yeah, can you make my hand out? Sure, but it's more of like a cloudy kind of gentle haze to it. Had about a finger of this bright white, fluffy looking head, soap sudsy to some degree. There's some decent carbonation. I'll try to hold the contraband flashlight to the bottom here so you can maybe see a little bit better. Maybe through the side here. Yeah, there's decent carbonation going through. It's not anything crazy, but you can see it. Go something like that. Maybe, no, I don't know. It looks fine. But it just is a little bit more hazy than I'm accustomed to. And it has, instead of like a straw golden color, it just has more of a golden, kind of golden yellow color. It's not as like crystal clear, so I think that impedes kind of the brightness that you would get from something like this. But in the hashtag, definitely not proper glassware. Shout out to Rajay. If you haven't not subscribed to his channel, he's a great dude. Go check him out. I think you'll enjoy his content. Anyway, let's get a nose here. Yeah, it smells like so many American light lagers. Grainy. I don't know if they are actually using any corn in here, whether it's like flaked maize or something. But it does have like a sweet kind of grainy kind of nose with a little bit of like a corny tinge to it. A lot of times with lagers of all different types, from American light lagers to German pilsners, I get a lot of fruity kind of like red apple, white pear. You could say that with this. Maybe a little bit of like a honey. A touch of a grassy floral sensation from the hops. Some of that sulfuric lager funk that you're accustomed to as well with the style. Yeah, if I was doing this blind, I'd be like, it smells like some kind of either American adjunct lager or American light lager. It's not huge in terms of the aromatics. It's not off-putting. It smells like it's going to have a nice, crisp, clean, refreshing nature to it. Yeah, it smells nice. There's no offensive aroma here. This doesn't smell like it's 11 months old. Even though I've never had this fresh, it just doesn't smell like an old beer. It smells pretty good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks a good Wougi. I was going to say Woody. Wougi. Thank you, good sir. Ooh, hang on. That's pretty good. And as I just said, I'm not a huge American light lager guy. In fact, if you asked me to name some of my least favorite beer styles, American light lagers would definitely be, I'd probably say, guaranteed to be in the top 5 of my least favorite. Why? If I'm going to drink something that's 4.5%, and it's gonna, and my goal for these styles is for them to be inoffensive most of the time, I'd rather just drink something that's 4 to 4.5% that actually has flavor that I enjoy. I'm not knocking anybody who likes the style because we're all different. We all have different tastes, so on and so forth. You've heard it before. Beer is subjective, right? It's just not a style that I gravitate towards. I can get behind them if they're inoffensive, and if this gnat just gets out here. It's not a fruit fly. There's a couple gnats snuck in recently, and I don't like it. Anyway, another sip. What I notice about this one is the body isn't super watery for 4.3%. This is like lower side of medium, approaching medium, which a lot of times with these, they're higher side of light at best, and a lot of times they are watery. This doesn't have a super watery consistency to it. I mean, it's lighter, but it's not watery. The mouthfeel is also not as overly crisp and like super carbonated, so it doesn't have like a big effervescent kind of vibe to it, but it does have like a moderate carbonation. It is a very clean beer, super refreshing. So right off the rip, the body and mouthfeel to me, 2 thumbs up. The taste is also where it's going to get like a 1.5 thumbs up, because this has more flavor than I'm accustomed to for the style, and it's actually a flavor that I can get behind. In the taste, this does not taste like they're using corn or rice or some kind of adjunct to throw in to the lager. They might be using it, but it doesn't taste like it. It's more of a bready, grainy, almost slightly crackery kind of malt character. And it's front to back. It's omnipresent. A lot of times I'll say it hits me in the front, dies underneath the palate, hits me again on the back. That is not the case here. It is actually just kind of with me along the entire way, kind of even keel. But then after that, up front, there's a little bit of like a lemony kind of feel to it, like a lemon peel, maybe a touch of orange peel. There's that red apple I was talking about, more of like a red apple skin or a white pear skin. There's a little bit of like a floral sensation as well, maybe a touch of honey as a whole. And then on the finish, it's grassy with a little bit more of that floral character. It doesn't have a big hop character, but it definitely has one that's more noticeable than, say, some of your macro American light lagers. Like I drank and reviewed Coors Light recently, and this is definitely, in my opinion, substantially better than that beer. 4.3%, you can't tell. Finishes with a beautiful, firm dryness. Very mild bitterness, if any bitterness at all. I mean, the style dictates not a real big bitterness. If you get a little bit of a mild bitterness, it's fine, but more of a firm dryness. It's pretty sweet up front, but it does balance out. I'd say this leans like 55-45 in terms of the sweetness to dryness. Leans a little bit more sweet. This is nice. And again, I don't go into reviews of preconceived notions outside of, my likes and dislikes in my mind. It's hard to be like, I don't like this style for the most part. So it's always in the back of my mind for sure, but I don't let that play a role in how I feel about this beer. I'll tell you right now, for the style, this is one of the better American light lagers. If some of my favorite local breweries here had this on tap, I know a lot of people that if we hung out at the brewery and they're not big craft beer fans, they could gravitate towards this one. They could 100% get behind this one because it's not too overwhelming to someone who doesn't enjoy craft beer, but at the same time, it has enough flavor for someone like myself who is into craft beer. So yeah, I think this is a really, really damn solid American light lager. You don't hear me say that often. All right, so I'm going to give it a rating. I'm not going to go crazy, but I will give this a stylistic rating. I will say this, stylistically speaking, Stonecloud Lite, if you're saying it's an American light lager, it just says light lager on the thing, but let's just say an American light lager. This is one of the better ones I've had. I'd give this like a low 4.5 into a 4.5. Like, this is really good for the style. My own personal preference, I'm going to go quite a bit lower because, of course, you got to take in consideration what I said about the style, but I still think this is one of the better American light lagers I've had. So, Stonecloud Lite from Stonecloud, I am going to give this, I'm going to go low 4 out of 5 and go 3.9 out of 5. And you might be like, well, it's still, not even a 4. That's me talking about a style that is top 5, one of my least favorite, and I'm still giving this almost a 4. I think that speaks to, in my opinion, how much I enjoy this beer for what it is. And keep in mind, I didn't even keep in mind until now, I said at the beginning, but I'll say it again. This is almost 11 months old, this can. So I can imagine fresh, this is probably even better. And that sulfuric funk that a lot of people don't enjoy for drinking something like this, more often than not, that's for like an authentic German lager or Czech lager, you get that more often. That is not in the taste at all, but it was in the nose. And this is just a better tasting craft American light lager, and I'm kind of shocked. Especially with the age and everything, this is really good. Price point availability, honestly, I knew the price point obviously going into this, and at the end I was going to be like, depending on how I thought about it, I'd probably be like, well, here's the difference between macro and craft. This is $10 for a 6-pack. I don't know if they said 12-ounce cans on their website, but regardless, even if there's a 6-pack of 16 fluid ounce cans like this is, and it's $10. That's still, some people are like, it's still a little pricey. And I believe 12 packs were $18. I think that's worth it for this. I think this is one of those beers within the American light lager style where I would pay a premium to drink. I really would. I'd much rather have this than most of the big American light lagers. And this is up there with some of the better craft American light lagers I've had. So for those of you in Oklahoma City, if you've never had Stonecloud Lite and you like lower ABV macro lagers that you can get that are pretty cheap, but you want to support something local, check this beer out. Like, again, not a style I like. I enjoyed that full English, that English ESB with Girl Grey tea, and that was an impressive, fun beer. But this, I think, is almost more impressive because not many breweries have won me over with a style like this. So if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like I said, $10 for a 6-pack, $18 for a 12-pack, and availability, I'm pretty sure, in and around the Oklahoma City area. I'm going to be reviewing this before I actually post that full English. So I won't be able to hear the feedback from you guys, and same thing with this one. So we'll see when I get to the kid, what people say about the actual distribution and whatnot. I have no idea. And yeah, this is just a really damn solid beer, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Also, I'm going to be reviewing 2 beers in the same day, but I'm posting them a week apart. So you're going to see the same get up I got on. The other one that he sent that was a lager was a Res Dog from Skydance Brewing, which is a Native American-owned brewery. Pretty cool. So I'm going to review that in about an hour, hour and a half, but you'll see that about a week and I'd say about almost 2 weeks apart. So anyway, huge thanks to Wougi for this beer. If you've had this beer, please post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. If not, what's your favorite craft version of an American light lager? Do you have one that's reasonably priced that has more flavor than most of the big BMC offerings? Because I would say that if this was local to me, I would maybe buy this occasionally. It's low enough ABV where it works for me. I like the flavors, and the price point's not insane or anything. So yeah, really digging this one. Once again, thanks to Wougi. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.